Hey, Stoic friends. Welcome back to my channel. Let me ask you something. How many mornings have you opened your eyes and felt that invisible weight pressing on your chest before your feet even touched the ground? That heaviness that has no name, no face, but somehow it feels like it's been stalking you for years. You look around and everything looks normal. The same walls, the same bed, the same air filling your lungs. But inside, it feels like the walls are closing in. One unread message, one cold silence from someone you thought would be there, or that one poisonous whisper in your head saying, "You're not enough. You'll never be enough." It's not just anxiety, it's not just fear. It's a quiet storm ripping through your soul, the kind no one else can see, but one you feel clawing at you every second you're awake. This isn't weakness. This is the battlefield no one talks about. This is the fight where your enemy isn't outside. It's inside. The restless thoughts, the surging emotions, the flash floods of anger, sadness, jealousy, or despair. They drag you from one end of the earth to the other, and you can't even explain why. People will tell you to calm down, to take a break, or to just stay positive, as if throwing meaningless words at a raging storm will stop it from tearing your life apart. But you and I both know that doesn't work, because storms don't listen to words. They listen to strength. And that strength isn't found by pretending you're fine, or drowning yourself in distractions, or running away from the chaos. No, the only way to rise above it is to rebuild the way your mind responds to the world, to rewire it piece by piece until the noise, the storms, the chaos lose their grip on you. That's what this video is about. I'm not here to hand you fluffy advice or motivational quotes you'll forget by tomorrow. I'm here to give you 10 brutal Stoic laws, not suggestions, not theories, laws. Hard, unshakable truths that if you live by them will turn your mind into something unbreakable. Armor that doesn't just protect you, but makes you untouchable when the world tries to pull you apart. Marcus Aurelius once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this, and you will find strength. Those words aren't history. They are a lifeline. Every time the world tries to shake you, break you, or swallow you, that truth is what keeps you breathing. But here's the thing. That kind of mastery doesn't just appear because you've read a quote. It doesn't just show up because you wished for it at 2 a.m. when you were on the edge. It's built through action, through deliberate, disciplined, daily action that feels heavy, uncomfortable, and relentless. Until one day, it doesn't. So, in this video, I'm going to hand you 10 Stoic laws that will rip apart everything you thought you knew about strength and rebuild it from the ground up. Live these laws for just 7 days. Truly live them. And your mind will no longer bend under the weight of your emotions. The storms won't disappear, but they'll stop owning you. Each law is going to hit you hard, and some will hurt, because they'll force you to stare straight into your fears, your ego, your attachments, and the illusions you've built your life around. But when that pain fades, it leaves something behind: freedom. By the end of this, you won't just feel stronger, you'll be stronger. So listen closely. Every second matters. Don't treat this like background noise you half hear while scrolling. Each law stacks on the last, like bricks building the fortress inside your mind. Miss one, and the walls crumble. But if you're ready to stop letting life, people, and your own thoughts tear you apart, this is the blueprint. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe so you never miss the lessons that could save you from yourself. And in the comments, write this down and burn it into your soul. My mind is my fortress. Now, Let's start rewiring your mind. Number 1. Detach from outcomes. Most of your suffering isn't born from what actually happens. It's born from the world you built in your head, the one where they stayed, where they understood, where the universe rewarded you just because you worked hard and played fair. And when reality spits on that picture, when the script in your mind burns to ash, you don't just feel pain, you feel betrayed, cheated, hollow. But here's the brutal lesson the Stoics carved into stone. Your peace dies the moment you tie it to outcomes you can't command. Every time you do, you hand your happiness to people, places, and events that were never yours to own. You chain your soul to storms that don't even know your name. Epictetus once said, "Freedom is the only worthy goal in life. It is won by disregarding things that lie beyond our control." Let that crawl under your skin, because most people aren't living free. They're walking cages, rattling around in their own anxiety, obsessing over questions that only fate can answer. Will they love me back? Will the deal go through? Will this chaos finally break in my favor? Every time you cling to how things should be, the world tightens the chains around your neck. You stop living and start waiting. Waiting for a message, waiting for recognition, waiting for the universe to play by the rules you wrote in secret. Detachment isn't coldness. It isn't numbness. It's a razor-sharp discipline, the kind that lets you pour your entire heart into something while whispering to yourself, "If this burns to the ground, I remain whole." You give your best, without letting the result own your heartbeat. You stop living on a leash. You stop shattering every time life doesn't kneel before your plans. And something strange happens when you finally let go. Your choices sharpen, your energy steadies, and people feel it. They feel the quiet power of someone who can't be rattled, someone who moves like a storm but stays rooted like a mountain. For the next 7 days, when you catch yourself gripping the result like it's your lifeline, waiting for a reply, watching the clock like it owes you something, or replaying those poisoned what-ifs, stop, breathe. Tell yourself, my control ends at my effort. The rest belongs to life. Then move, work, act, and watch how the ground stops shaking beneath you when you finally stop letting outcomes own your peace. Number 2, turn pain into discipline. Pain is the universe's most ruthless teacher. It doesn't knock politely. It tears through your chest, crushes your lungs, and leaves you staring at the ceiling at 3 a.m., wondering why it had to be you. Most people waste it. They numb it with distractions, drown it in shallow pleasures, or let it twist them into something bitter and broken. But Stoicism doesn't let you run. It demands something far more brutal. Take every ounce of that pain, every heartbreak, every betrayal, every crushing blow life lands on you, and forge it into fuel. Because discipline is not born in comfort. It's born in the exact moment your knees buckle, when your throat burns, when you want to quit so badly it feels like your soul is being peeled apart. That's the place where most people break. That's the place where you either become steel or stay soft forever. Seneca once wrote, "Difficulties strengthen the mind, as labor does the body." It sounds noble when the storm is still distant. It's easy to nod along when the sky is clear and your heart feels safe. But when the fire is in your lungs, when every breath feels like glass, when your anger boils so violently you want to scream, throw, destroy, that is the arena. That is where his words either become real or meaningless. The Stoics never saw pain as punishment. They saw it as raw material, molten and untamed. Clay that can be shaped into unshakable strength. or left to rot into something bitter, fragile, and useless. This week, when life hurls a wave at you, frustration so thick you want to explode, heartbreak that leaves your chest hollow, doubts that make your hands shake, don't run. Stand still. Let it burn for a moment. Breathe. And whisper to yourself, how can I use this? Maybe it becomes the push that drags you out of bed before the sun. Maybe it cuts the dead weight from your life. The people, the habits, the excuses that kept you soft. Maybe it drives you to train when your body screams, to work while the world sleeps, to build when everything in you wants to break. And then something terrifying and powerful happens. You stop fearing pain. You start stalking it, hunting for the growth buried inside its jaws. And the same fire that used to burn you alive becomes the forge that makes you untouchable. What once shattered you becomes the hammer that builds you. Number 3. Silence is your weapon. Most people can't survive silence. It devours them. The moment the world goes quiet, they scramble to fill the air with meaningless words, desperate laughter, shallow noise. They talk just to hear themselves breathe, to convince the room and themselves that they still matter. But the Stoics understood something far darker, far sharper. Silence isn't weakness. Silence is power. It's a blade. It cuts through illusions and forces the truth to crawl out of people who can't stand stillness. It's the pause that saves you from speaking out of anger, the stillness that turns chaos into clarity, and the space where your mind sharpens into something no one can shake. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Learn to be indifferent to what makes no difference. Silence is the furnace where that indifference is forged." Every argument you refuse to be dragged into, every explanation you choose not to spit out, every reaction you withhold when someone pokes at your nerves. Those are victories no one sees. Those are the moments where you pull the strings instead of being yanked around like a marionette. The more you hold your tongue, the more the room bends to your stillness. People expect noise. When they're met with silence, they start to tremble under the sound of their own chaos. For the next 7 days, wield it. When someone tries to provoke you, when gossip drips into your ear like poison, when your instinct screams to defend, justify, explain, stop. Close your mouth. Let silence stretch until it suffocates the moment. Watch how quickly their confidence falters, how their words stumble when they realize you won't dance to their tune. In that quiet, you'll feel your grip tighten on your own emotions. Their chaos no longer has a leash on you. And then something shifts. Silence stops being a trick you use. It becomes your shield. It guards your peace like a fortress. It protects your dignity when the world tries to drag you into the mud. It keeps your focus razor sharp while everyone else drowns in their own noise. Soon, you'll notice the leeches, the ones who drained your energy, the ones who thrived on your reactions, start to fade away. They can't feed off someone who refuses to bleed noise. In that silence, you don't just find calm, you find control, and that control terrifies the world more than any words ever could. Number 4. Stop chasing approval. Every time you bend yourself to be liked, a piece of you dies. You change your words so they'll nod. You change your clothes so they'll notice. You post and perform just so strangers can tap a button and remind you that you exist. And the cruel truth: no matter how many hands clap, no matter how loud the applause, it will never fill that hollow pit in your chest. Because their approval is a drug. It gives you a rush, but it never lasts. And when it fades, you'll crawl back, begging for another hit. The Stoics saw this sickness for what it is: slavery. When your worth depends on applause, you are not living. You're dangling on strings, a marionette jerking to please an audience that will forget you the moment the show is over. Epictetus didn't sugarcoat it. He said, "If you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid." That's the real test of freedom. Can you stand in the middle of the storm with whispers and judgment clawing at your back and still hold your ground? Can you live with being misunderstood, called arrogant, cold, even heartless, simply because you refuse to kneel for their approval? That is what true freedom tastes like. Bitter at first, but then it burns into something no one can take from you. For the next 7 days, tear yourself away from this addiction. When someone tries to corner you with judgment, don't explain. When the urge to post for validation creeps up your spine, stop. Sit with the discomfort. Let the world talk, whisper, label. Their words don't build or break you. They're just sounds, air leaving their lungs, nothing more. And when the itch to brag, to be seen, to be celebrated, starts gnawing at you, ask yourself, does this make me stronger, or does it make me weaker? Does it free me, or does it bind me tighter to their leash? Because every ounce of energy you spend begging for their praise is energy stolen from your own growth. The moment you stop chasing their claps, a strange shift happens. Your voice steadies, your choices become your own, and a cold, unshakable confidence begins to grow in your chest. The kind you can't fake because it doesn't need to be seen. It doesn't need a stage or an audience or applause. It just is. And when you finally stand there, rooted in that silence, you'll realize something terrifying and beautiful. The world no longer owns you. Number 5. Confront your mortality. Every single day, you dance around the truth nobody wants to face. The silent, cold certainty that will one day drag us all into the dark. Death isn't a distant visitor. It's the shadow at your heels, breathing down your neck every second you waste. Yet most of us live as if we're immortal, trapped in distractions, caught in endless loops of meaningless fights, petty grudges, and empty routines. The Stoics tore through this illusion like a blade through fog. They didn't just accept death. They weaponized it. Memento mori, remember you will die. Not to scare you, but to light a fire under your soul so fierce it burns through complacency, so bright it scorches away every excuse you cling to. Marcus Aurelius, a man who held an empire and still stared death in the eye every day, wrote, "You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do, say, and think." Imagine waking up each morning with that jagged truth cutting through your veins like lightning. What would you still waste your breath on? Would you waste hours lost in petty digital battles, scrolling past life while it slipped through your fingers? Would you still hold grudges that poison your heart, letting bitterness stain your soul like acid? Would you still shrink your dreams, waiting for the right time, knowing deep down that time is a thief racing to rob you blind? For the next 7 days, let this brutal truth be your unrelenting companion. Every morning, stare death down like a challenger in the ring and ask yourself, if today were my last day breathing this air, how would I live it? Maybe it shatters your pride, forcing you to forgive, because carrying hatred to your grave is the cruelest weight you'll ever bear. Maybe it shakes loose your fears, finally pushing you to launch that dream you've buried beneath layers of doubt. Or maybe it simply rips away the distractions, demanding you be fully here, to watch the sun set in blazing colors, to squeeze a loved one's hand until the bones ache, to breathe deep and swallow life whole, raw and unfiltered. This isn't about fear. It's a savage kind of clarity that rips through the noise and nonsense. Mortality strips everything down to the bone, exposing the bare truth about what deserves your energy, your time, your blood and sweat. When you live with death at your side, the trivial falls away like dead skin, and only what is fierce, real, and worthy remains. And in that ruthless light, you stop wasting your power on people, places, or moments that don't ignite your soul. You start living like every heartbeat is borrowed fire, because it is. Number 6. Master the art of letting go. Most people carry invisible burdens that weigh heavier than any physical load. They drag around old grudges like a chain wrapped tight around their ribs, clutch broken friendships that left scars deeper than words can reach, and nurse regrets as if reliving them over and over could somehow rewrite the past. These aren't just memories. They are wounds that fester beneath the surface, poisoning the soul slowly but surely. The worst part: these wounds no longer matter to the people who caused them. The real trap is that you keep feeding them. Every time your mind lingers on the past, every time your heart beats for what's already dead, you're watering the roots of your own suffering. Letting go isn't a weak surrender. It's a savage act of rebellion. The Stoics didn't sugarcoat freedom. They practiced it like warriors of the mind, cutting ties with anything that shackled their spirit, no matter how painful it was. Clinging tight to pain is the fastest way to chain yourself to a life of misery. True freedom screams from the ruins of what you once loved but now must release. It demands a courage so raw and primal that it shakes the bones, because holding on to what hurts is like drinking poison, hoping it will kill someone else. The comfort you think you find is a lie, a shadow of peace that tightens the noose around your throat. Seneca's words hit like a hammer: "He who is brave is free." That bravery doesn't roar in the face of battle. Sometimes it's the quiet thunder inside, the brutal decision to let go when every piece of your being screams to hold tighter. It's the bloodied, raw courage to cut loose the ghosts, dragging you into the abyss. Freedom doesn't come from winning fights. It comes from dropping the weapons and walking away from the war inside your mind. For the next 7 days, be ruthless with yourself. Hunt your thoughts like a predator stalking prey. When your mind drags you back to the face of betrayal, the words you can't unsay, the silence of someone who walked away without a backward glance, catch it before it consumes you. Ask yourself with brutal honesty, is this thought a blade cutting me open or a key unlocking my cage? If it's the former, it's time to burn it down. Start small, but do it with ferocity. Write down those memories that claw at your chest and then set them aflame, watching the smoke carry away your pain like ashes in the wind. Stop stalking their digital shadow on social media, haunting the life that no longer has room for you. Stop sending messages into the void to someone who only responds when it suits them, as if your worth is measured by their convenience. Your mind will scream, claw, resist. Attachment feels safe because it's known, but it's a prison disguised as comfort. Every time you break those chains, your chest expands with fresh air. Your mind clears like lightning splitting the night, and your soul roars louder, tasting freedom for the first time in years. When 7 days have passed, you won't just have let go. You'll have torn down the walls you built around your heart. Letting go won't feel like losing anything. It will feel like reclaiming pieces of yourself scattered across places and people who never deserved your light. This is not just release. This is war and victory all at once. This is the fierce, savage art of taking back your life, no matter how broken it feels. This is how you become free. Number 7. Build resilience that can't be broken. Life doesn't care if you're ready. It doesn't wait for you to catch your breath or gather your strength. It strikes like a ruthless storm, crashing without warning, tearing away the security you thought you owned. One moment, your job feels like an unbreakable foundation beneath your feet. The next, it's snatched away like a cruel joke. One day, the person you bled for, trusted with your soul, looks at you and quietly decides they don't love you anymore. Most people shatter when life delivers punches like this, not because they're weak, but because they never forged the armor inside that could absorb the impact and keep standing tall. The truth the Stoics lived by cuts sharper than any pain. Strength isn't about dodging the storm, it's about becoming the storm itself, unshakable no matter how savage the winds howl. Epictetus slashed through centuries of confusion when he said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." That's the heartbeat of resilience. It's not the absence of pain, that's a fairy tale. Resilience is the savage refusal to let pain dictate the course of your life. It's staring straight into the gaping wound life rips open and saying, "You will not break me." For the next 7 days, turn every wound, every betrayal, every failure into brutal training for your spirit. When someone shatters your trust, don't crumble. Step back, inhale deeply, and let your calm be a blade that cuts through chaos before you even speak. When your carefully crafted plan crashes and burns, don't drown in despair. Rise from the ashes and carve a sharper, smarter path from the wreckage. Make this your daily battle cry. When everything falls apart, as it always will, pause. Hold your ground like a fortress in the storm. Remind yourself with every fiber of your being, this moment does not own me. My reaction owns this moment. Resilience isn't built overnight. It's forged rep by rep, like weights lifted for the soul. Every setback is a rep. Every betrayal is a representative. Every moment of pain is a rep. This isn't a gentle practice. It's a brutal, beautiful forging of a spirit that refuses to crack. By the end of this week, you'll feel a seismic shift in your core. Life won't stop testing you, far from it. But those once crushing blows will feel smaller, like pebbles tossed against the fortress you built inside yourself. You won't just endure, you'll dominate. You'll move through the world with the quiet power of someone who knows this. No matter how hard the hit, you will not break. You will rise. You will become unbreakable. Number 8. Live by internal standards, not external chaos. The world is a roaring storm of noise, a chaotic circus where everyone screams louder than the last. Opinions collide like thunderclaps, agendas clash with the ferocity of lightning strikes, and society yells how you should live, love, work, and even breathe. Most people drown in this relentless uproar because they have no anchor deep inside. They are leaves caught in a hurricane, spinning endlessly with no ground beneath their feet. But the Stoics, those savage architects of the soul, didn't let the world's chaos dictate their steps. They built themselves from bedrock, crafting internal standards so unbreakable that no external storm could ever topple them. Epictetus burned this truth into history. Freedom is the only worthy goal in life. It is won by disregarding things that lie beyond our control. When your standards are forged from your own will, the wild winds outside lose their power. You become a fortress. No longer a puppet to gossip, moods, or fleeting trends. You stand unmoved because you know what you are made of. Your internal compass is the only rhythm you follow, and it beats with savage certainty. For the next 7 days, Hunt down your non-negotiables like a warrior claiming ground. Maybe it's unshakable integrity, doing the right thing when no eyes watch, when the world offers nothing but darkness. Maybe it's self-respect so fierce that you refuse to chase anyone who treats you like a choice, not a priority. Maybe it's discipline, the iron will to push forward, to grow even when every bone in your body begs for surrender. Write these down, burn them into your soul, and wear them like armor. This is your creed, your battlefield mantra. When the noise rises, because it will roar like a beast trying to claw through your walls, remember this: they cannot shake a mind anchored in its own truth. No matter how loud the chaos, your steps will not falter. You will not dance to anyone else's twisted music. You will march to a rhythm born from within, wild, untamed, relentless. By the end of the week, the shackles of others' expectations will feel like dust in the wind. The freedom that comes from owning your standards will hit you like a thunderbolt, raw, fierce, and intoxicating. You will finally know what it means to live not as a slave to the noise, but as the storm itself. Number 9. Treat each day as a training ground. Most people live like life is a boring dress rehearsal, waiting for some elusive, real moment that never shows up. They're stuck in this endless loop of false starts, illusions of preparation, while the world burns and storms rage outside their safe little bubbles. But the Stoics? They didn't wait for a signal. They charged headfirst into the chaos, turning every damn day into a savage training ground, a brutal gym for the mind, body, and spirit. Because life doesn't hand out second chances. When the wrecking ball swings, only the hardened survive. Only those who've wrestled discomfort by the throat, who've sharpened their souls on the grindstone of daily struggle, walk away standing. Marcus Aurelius ripped through centuries of noise with this: if you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it. And this you have the power to revoke at any moment. Think about that. Your pain isn't written in stone. It's a lie you tell yourself, a prison you've built. And every day you choose. Either you stay shackled or you tear those chains apart, piece by bloody piece. Daily training hammers this truth deep into your bones until your mind becomes a fortress no storm can crumble, no enemy can infiltrate. So here's the savage challenge. For the next 7 days, treat every sunrise like a war horn blasting in your soul. Push your body past comfort's lies. That cold shower? It's an icy whip cracking against your skin, burning away weakness and softness. The morning run? It's a war march where your lungs scream, your legs scream, and you scream back with raw, furious power. Lift weights heavy enough to make your muscles tremble in pain, because pain isn't the enemy. It's the brutal teacher screaming truth into your flesh. Then attack your mind. Break the endless scroll addiction. Shut out the noise that feeds your numbness. Instead, read the words that cut like knives. Meditate with eyes wide open to your demons, and drag those fears from the shadows into blinding light. Finally, train your emotions. Have the conversations that crack your soul open. Say no when your gut screams yes because it's easier. Hold your rage like a wild beast caged inside instead of unleashing destruction. This week will burn like acid in your veins. Discomfort will become your constant companion, stabbing, biting, tearing at your insides. But here's the wild truth. The fire that burns you also tempers you. This agony is the crucible where legends are forged, where your soul is sharpened into a weapon no fate can break. By the end of this week, you won't just be stronger, you'll be transcendent. You will walk through the world like a storm wrapped in flesh, unbreakable, unstoppable, and alive with a fierce, raw power few ever taste. This isn't practice. This isn't a game. This is your life, and you're about to become a force no one can ignore. Number 10. Embrace radical self-honesty. The hardest opponent you will ever face stands silently in your reflection. It's not a rival in the streets or a whisper behind your back. It's the ruthless, unfiltered truth staring back at you from the mirror every morning. Most people run from this battle like their life depends on it. They drown themselves in comforting lies, pretending happiness when their hearts feel hollow and cracked. They convince themselves they're grinding hard, even as they drift in a fog of half-effort and excuses. They blame the world, the past, other people, anything but themselves, for the chaos in their lives. But that's poison, a slow, corrosive rot eating from the inside out. The Stoics ripped that veil away. They knew the only way to become truly alive, truly free, was to slam full force into radical self-honesty, no matter how much it rips you open. Because real change doesn't creep in quietly. It crashes like a wildfire, consuming every shadow of denial. Seneca said, "No man was ever wise by chance." Wisdom doesn't fall from the sky or come as a gift. It's torn from the trenches of your darkest moments, earned in blood and fire when you stop running and start looking at yourself with brutal clarity. For the next 7 nights, shut the world out. No distractions, no easy escapes. Sit down with yourself in the quiet and ask the questions that burn hot but never get asked. Are you living by your own values, or hiding behind fears that suffocate your dreams? Are you building a life that ignites your soul, or just scraping by, barely surviving? Who do you need to become to finally break the vicious cycle of mistakes and regret that keeps looping like a broken record? Write the answers down, even when your hand shakes and the truth stings like shattered glass under your skin, because every lie you tell yourself is a brick in the prison of your own making, a cage where your potential suffocates in silence. Radical honesty is savage and relentless. It tears down your fragile walls, exposing every cracked piece and raw nerve. But in that pain lies a fierce, burning freedom, a flame that can't be extinguished. It's the brutal spark that ignites the revolution inside you, the revolution where you stop settling, stop shrinking, and start claiming every ounce of your power. By the end of this week, you won't just know yourself, you'll stare back with a fierce, untouchable respect, born from surviving the most savage war you'll ever fight. The weight of truth will break you, and in breaking you, it will set you free. This freedom isn't gentle or kind. It's raw. It's real. It's the kind of freedom that makes you raw, makes your spirit tremble, and sets your soul on fire like never before. Every one of these 10 ironclad laws isn't just advice tossed in the wind. They are seismic shifts, capable of tearing down the old you and forging a mind so fierce, so unbreakable, it will stare down chaos and not flinch. But here's the brutal truth. Transformation only screams into existence when you move, when you act with ruthless, unapologetic intent. The Stoics didn't just preach about strength, discipline, or peace. They embodied it like warriors in the darkest nights, especially when the world tried to crush them beneath its weight. If you dare to grab even a handful of these principles by the throat and weave them into your daily battle, you won't just feel change. You'll become a tempest of calm in every storm, a fortress standing unshaken when life throws punches, and a wildfire of freedom blazing bright in a world desperate to chain you. This isn't gentle self-help fluff. This is raw, relentless power waiting to explode from within. So, dive deep. Own your pain, your victories, your chaos. And when you come back next week, don't just tell me how your life feels. Show me how you've torn down the old you and risen sharper, louder, and fiercer than ever before. If these words cut through the noise and ignited something inside you, don't hesitate. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. This journey isn't just mine, it's ours. And the revolution inside you is just getting started.